Hello, everybody. We are once again going to do our Raven playing CrazyStone at Rav3n while I ask him questions as to why he's doing things and how he's thinking it through. And this is our second or third time doing it, and people seem to be enjoying the process. So here we go.
All right. I'm gonna play the Q16 star point.
Q16. And for the viewers, I have CrazyStone on my desktop, and I'm transferring the moves over.
We'll go for Q3 in the bottom right corner.
3. Oh, I forgot to put it on the move there.
Attach R5.
R5.
Extend to R4. I don't have the confidence to play the Kitani move of S5. Hopefully you guys don't hear the dogs barking in the background. I may have to tell them to be quiet in a moment. So it wants to play fast. Okay, I'm gonna cut at Q6.
Q6 cut. I'm glad to see that, because sometimes I've heard that that's a bit slow, and other times I think of like, well, how could it possibly not punish Black's move? So we'll see how this goes.
Hush. Okay, sorry about that.
I don't see it as a bother. I do hear it, but I barely hear it.
They'll get progressively louder if I don't tell them to be quiet. Like they're doing now. Let's attach at Q14.
Q14. Does it particularly matter which one you contact?
Since the right side is kind of already got stones on it, I'm anticipating Black can extend to R7, but it's smaller than the top side. I would prefer to attach on the smaller one and help that one build, and then have follow-up on the wider side.
Makes sense.
Extend out, P14, like the typical sort of attach extend. It's going the old way. So the modern move would be to attach in the corner, or 3-3. This one's a little bit more rare these days. Push down R16, kind of only move. Directly. Wow. Okay. I'm gonna go ahead and extend here.
Is this a Joseki, or is this just too much for white?
So from what I remember of that position, it should be playable because of Black's cut as well. But again, I already said earlier with Q14 that the top side was more interesting for me. If he wants to push through and take the right and give me the top, I'm perfectly happy with keeping it simple.
Okay.
I don't see a reason to start a big fight right now.
I'm giving you control. Could you play out what it might look like if Black cuts here?
Sure. So when Black cuts, white will typically countercut. And against the countercut, we'll usually see Atari extend and then Hane. So something like this, Black is trying to squeeze the liberties of white in the corner. White's going to counter Hane, and then a lot of the times I see Black push.
Let's have Black save instead. Or that's fine.
Yeah, White's usually going to answer, then Black's going to connect here. And then from this position, White's going to jump in the corner. And so we get a situation like this. Sometimes from here I see push. More often than not, I see B. Black can clamp, white can block. Black can play the Atari. This is all fairly forced. And then in this position, white will play attachment. It gets into like really big, messy stuff with this. There's a couple of different move order switches Black can do in the middle, but this is the general gist of things. This point, if Black wedges, white can play the Atari, Black can connect, and white escapes.
Okay. And
Mhm.
why you see this a lot in strong player games.
Mhm.
They don't make this exchange, which is way more lifelike.
Mhm.
Why not?
Um, so this type of thing helps strengthen black on the outside, breathes a little bit more life into the Q13 stone. When whites
Yeah.
put so much effort into stabilizing the outside and forcing black low, white doesn't really want to have to deal with black coming out there.
Okay, good.
So P12 becomes a big problem in the future. We prefer to keep black in bad shape for that fight.
Yeah. So those black stones versus these much thicker on the outside.
Mhm.
So now when black does anything, it's better for him already.
Yep.
Good. Okay. So this would trouble me because it's not like I don't think white's going to live, but it's
Mhm.
more like, wow, I would hate to have to be forced to live in the corner.
Mhm. Yeah, it's just this one starts a fight, and I know AlphaGo tends to play that way. From what I remember, it doesn't mind the fight, and it invented a few sort of Josekis with this type of fight. But I'm much more a fan of extending and just playing on the bigger
Okay.
side. Like I feel like after white cut at Q6, the right side is just not so interesting for me.
Right.
I'm gonna extend again. Yeah. So here it's going after the two stones. Perfectly fine. Extend one more time. It can have them. Because the thing that I think about with this is if he goes back to net the two stones now after white extends here, then white can just play Q7 or R7. And what is the
Right.
thickness good for?
Okay.
Yeah, I'll extend one more time. N16.
So black's built a pretty gosh darn thick wall,
Mhm.
but if he saves B,
Mhm.
then the right's kind of flat. And if he doesn't, then the right's nothing. So
Mhm.
he's really not getting much for this. Good.
Yeah.
Also, I would find myself questioning at what point could I be capturing this stone?
Mhm. Uh,
Because if I just come out,
mhm.
now I got to come down. Why didn't
Hmm.
I come down to begin with? Talk to me a little bit about that.
Okay,
And
so
you have control.
you could play this way, but later if you come down like this, black has a clamp.
So
So
there's still Aji there.
yeah,
Okay,
so
got it.
there's still Aji. So even if like we're stuck in a position where like let's say we get something locally that looks like this, we're actually helping black expand their thickness across the top compared to something like this, which yeah, black can play, but it's actually not forcing. Even if black saves the one stone, white is still perfectly alive in the corner.
There you
And
go.
then white can get a free move elsewhere. Also, because white is thick, there are counterattacking options against black in the
Yeah.
future inside.
Good, good, good.
Yeah.
Okay. So in other words, this is Incente. So we're not helping black in the center. Good.
Mhm.
Okay. White comes out.
Yeah. So that's only move for black. He has to extend because if white captures, it's too painful. I will extend to P6. We'll finish the sort of local pattern. And now, yeah, Q9 would have been white's follow-up. So black playing Q9 makes a lot of sense here. I think now I'm going to play the L17 knight's move, and we're going to close the gap on the top side. This move does give up Sente. It's not necessarily the biggest opening move, but since we've already got middle game conditions on the right-hand side, I value the middle game move here more than I value an opening point. Black can enclose one of the two corners. I can steal the other one, so I'm not really pressed to approach either one at the moment.
Okay. Let me catch up. That was a lot.
Mhm.
Okay. So we've got various opening moves,
Mhm.
which generally speaking are bigger than side.
Mhm.
And you're saying, I'm going to play the side move, which completely finishes the situation. It turns it into cash, all like that. But you had a reason.
Mhm.
So I'm going to do this because, repeat that part.
Black's two cornerstones are star points. So it's kind of if black encloses one, I can still steal the other. So
Miai.
it's
Okay.
kind of a miai. So I'm not really pressed to take either one first.
Now, didn't you say since black got the right, I'm going to take the top? You said something like that?
Something along those lines. I said the right side exhibits middle game conditions. Most of the opening points on the right have been finished. Anything else that we do on the right hand side is going to be some middle game idea, invading, reducing, some type of attacking method using the 2 stones, Aji use, that kind of stuff. So for me, I'm putting a little bit more value in this sort of thick middle game type move of L17 than I am of an opening type move, since they're Mii.
Okay.
Yeah. By having strong positions on the upper right and the bottom right corner, I can do things easier on the right side with my 2 stones later, since he still hasn't captured them.
Mm-hmm.
I'm just
Now,
playing ahead.
before AI, we were concerned about the Aji on the bottom, and we would always play here.
Sure. Mm-hmm.
Now, you had said since white's thick, well, I wouldn't consider that thick.
Mm-hmm.
I would consider another move would make it thick, and it's a big move. So
Mm-hmm.
I'm seeing this as plenty good for territory, not that it actually creates cash, but still good for points,
Mm-hmm.
and defends. While this, I don't see it as defense. Just so, how would I decide between those?
Well, I guess like probably both are fine. Playing on the bottom is also attractive. I thought about F3. But if black is stepping towards the bottom, I'm already strong in the bottom right corner. There's a little bit of Aji with Q5, but black shape on the right side is still kind of thin. So I'm not really worried about that fight. My feeling is that if black tries to take away A in an aggressive manner, like anything farther than K3, I'm going to be able to attack it. And even if we end up sharing the bottom, I get a piece of the bottom plus I get B, and B took away a good follow up from black on the top. So
Okay. So if I was going to repeat that, I would say that black in here, again, not that it's Sente, but black's happy that white's not getting this. And if black plays here, it's not particularly even Sente.
right.
Okay.
Yeah.
So that puts us black, white.
That's a nice summarization. I like how easy you're able to explain these things.
You know,
Like
one
there's so much
thing,
that goes on behind the scenes in my brain. I have to reverse engineer what I think to
yeah,
try to explain it.
as you know, I've been teaching Go professionally for coming up on 40 years. I think I'm at 38 years. And I think the thing that's made me well known for that is because I'm such a simple guy. I don't understand things. So I necessarily have to break them down to small little steps. So okay. And you're like all these grand thoughts. I'm like, whoa, break it down, break it down. Okay, that was me rambling.
That's good. So here,
So
black has taken an interest by expanding on the bottom. So I'm going to question that a little bit and play C3. I want to know what his intentions here are. If he blocks at D3, he's building a low stone. I have a thick-ish position on the right. I can press it down. And if he plays C4 to develop the left, then I have a clear next target when I take Sente. So this is keeping the game very simple for white.
yeah.
It's very easy. I'm only having to do one thing at a time. I'm not busy.
Yeah. This is something I do a lot. When I see this move, I mean, it's a well-known move and everything, but I come in right away because it's like, well, what's white going to do? And what's black going to do? And it's like hard for black to develop this. That's what I found.
Yeah, I agree. And also, I've noticed as I've improved in Go, I have a lot more sort of respect for not wanting to make decisions. So anytime I can force my opponent to make the decision, I'm happy. Push at C4. Because then I don't have to think as hard. I only have to do one thing. Okay, so this one's a bit rare these days. Locally, this is actually like a small, like marginal loss compared to the other moves typically. But it makes some sense here, I guess.
Okay, just a second. Did you just say that this is a loss for black?
Compared to the other variations, if you look at it with AI, it's anywhere from a loss of like half a point to a point and a half in some cases. There are cases where it breaks even, but it's never considered, at least from what I've researched, it's never considered a positive result for black. As
Okay,
far as AI goes.
now this is a bit off topic, but
I
if there's
think
people
for
out there like me,
mhm,
like how is that possible? Because
yeah,
black got life
yeah,
and good points, and I
mhm.
wouldn't say thickness to the outside, but not. I mean,
Yeah,
there's some thickness, and white got. It looks like 2 points. Of course, it's more
yeah.
than 2 points.
Yeah, so the devil's in the details with this one actually. A lot of the reason I found the AI doesn't like it is because the C2 descent,
Yeah.
which it will almost immediately play, and then the follow-ups at either F2 or D6, depending on the board, tend to be very powerful for white. So if black is relying on taking the corner back and using the D4 wall to build the bottom because of this extend in one, that's impossible. It's a dream. You'll never get it. So even though we have influence towards the bottom, we really don't have anything because F2 undermines all of it. And D6, that push, gives white so much strength on the left side because black has to oftentimes answer by playing D2 directly. That white gets such good control in that area, it's hard for black to use this group to fight later.
Okay. Again, you said a lot there.
Uh-huh.
Uh, one big thing I took away was in this black shape,
Mm,
black has a heck of a lot going on in area one because
mhm.
this is a seriously thick black group.
Right.
But in this case, not in the slightest, because we have anytime we want, we get one move for free,
Mhm,
and then whatever we want next.
mhm.
Okay.
Yep.
Okay. Good, good, good.
Yep. So it's just it looks like you get a lot up front, but it doesn't pay out enough over time, I guess. It's the best way to say it. Yeah, so here black played K3, I think. No, black played R7. R7 was the game move. And then black went to K3. And we should be on the main branch after this. Yep. Okay, cool. So it's always surprising when I see the Hane these days.
Uh-huh.
At least that like because I almost never see it when I play on Fox. Okay, we'll push one more time. Of course, that is to say for like the viewing audience, right? If you're comfortable with C5, keep playing C5. The difference below like 5 Don even is not, there's almost no difference.
Yeah.
Um, unless somebody is a super Joseki book guy, in which case he might know every nuanced way to punish it, but even then you only lose 1 point. It's not going to be what decides the game.
Yeah.
Yeah. But AI does have very strong opinions on building the wall this way versus building it with D5. And turns out the cut being at D5 and not D6 tends to make a big difference in some
Just a second.
cases.
Handing you control. Explain that to us.
Yeah, so a lot of the times the comparison for this shape, we tend to compare it with this one. And in a lot of cases, the placement of the cut at A makes a difference. If black's plan is to build a wall, it's usually preferred to do it this way these days because the group here gets more liberties, which
Okay.
means at any point, if white tries to play this, we have natural counterattacking options against the cut. So
Okay.
black doesn't have to play in such a restrictive way as simply connecting. But in the game variation, I'm just going to go ahead and put my next move on the board. Um, black is probably going to answer at A. But later, when white peeps at 1, it's much harder for black to counterattack it at 2.
Yeah.
Because when white cuts at 3, black is down to 3 liberties, and that's
Yeah.
the danger zone for dumb Izumari or shortage of liberties. So in this case, if the plan is to build a wall, do not Hane, simply extend to 3 directly. you'll have a lot better time with the cutting odulator. And I think that's good for everyone down to like 5Q,
Uh-huh.
at least from what
Okay,
I
good.
found. Below 5Q, it doesn't make much of a difference. They don't really play the cut well anyway, but you know. Okay, so he builds the wall. This is kind of what I was talking about earlier. I don't mind it because he's building on a low stone. Whenever I get positions like this and my opponent's really playing hard to build a low position like this, I like to ask them very interesting questions. So hopefully you don't mind if I ask him an interesting question, Lance. I would like to attach a K4.
Uh-huh.
And this is my favorite move in all of Go. I love this move.
In this position or just
Uh,
for
in general, I really don't like Gote extensions on the side, which K3 has become. They're very often, when I was taking the AI class from the Taiwanese 7P, whose name I can't remember, and he was going through a lot of how AI has changed modern Go. One of the things that really stuck with me is his interpretation of these side extending moves that we used to see a lot in the early 2000s. One of the things that AI does very well is it uses these type of attachment probes to over concentrate and break those moves, and so they're not useful. Like we can see if white caps it at K5, in a vacuum, black might have a natural counterattack at K7. Like the pincer is a move black can consider. Black has attacking options.
uh-huh.
But when you attach, you force a compromise. Black doesn't get to use the power of that stone. And
Okay.
so it's hard for black to prove how useful K3 will be if you slap a stone right on top of it.
Okay. So let me catch up a little bit here. This is not forcing.
Mm-hmm.
So black has options all over the place. Territory, building more of the wall, fighting on the outside, trying to use the Aji at D,
Mm-hmm.
big counterattacks, all sorts of things, and black
Mm-hmm.
has complete freedom.
Yep.
But if we do the forcing move,
Mm-hmm.
once again on the right button, then all of a sudden it's like just a few little options that
Mm-hmm.
white can control.
Yep.
Good, good.
Yeah.
Let me ask a couple other questions here.
Sure.
Uh, First, the press here.
Mm-hmm.
Sometimes we press, sometimes we don't. In my mind, it comes down to how big of a move is this?
Mm-hmm.
I mean, it's not Sente, but
Mm-hmm.
in this case, it's massively large.
Mm-hmm.
And other times, if we press, it's not Sente, because if we do come out, it has very little meaning
Right.
depending on the board.
Mm-hmm.
So on this board, oh, we would love to honey and double honey and just start wreaking havoc. So,
Mm-hmm.
and we would hate black to hunt. So, yeah.
Mm-hmm.
Okay.
Yep.
So next is a an outright mistake.
I don't think so. It seems perfectly viable. And as far as like good next moves go, white should probably play there. Um, I'm playing K4 because I want to know what black wants to do with this wall.
Okay.
It's a probe.
So you're saying not only is A not a mistake, it's likely the best move.
Mm-hmm.
Okay. B?
I would consider B probably smaller than A.
Because we already have a low settled group there
Right, and the top is just generally less efficient for territory than the corner.
in the corner. Okay.
Like B, I find is good if black just responds on the left because the left side was made smaller by the B7 push.
Uh-huh.
But I don't think we can guarantee black is going to even answer B on this board. And if black does, he might do it in a way that makes the left bigger, um, rather
Yeah.
than just
Okay.
passively backing off. So I think B is like it's like already not the best direction, and it's kind of wishful thinking.
Yeah. Okay. So what about let's go this way.
Mm-hmm.
what would you do?
So 2, 4, 6, 8, 10, 12, 14, 16, 18, 20, 22, 24, 26, 28, 30, 32, 4, 36, 38, 40, 2, 4, 6, 8, 52, 4, 6, 8, 62. Call me. So white's about 70, black's 3, 6, 9, 12, 15, 18, 20, 2, 4, 6. Black's got 26 to 28 points cash versus white 70. Black's got a moyo that is 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6. It's a 5x6 moyo at the moment. It's 30 points. It's still 20 deficit, can be reduced. I would ignore it. Push at D17 would be my move.
I see.
But that's
And
just from
you,
counting. The moyo's not big enough to cover the gap in territory between white and black at the moment, so it's not urgent enough to come in.
okay. If we were to follow basic Joseki here, you're not concerned about this moyo in the center?
Nope.
Yeah. Okay. And then finally, this guy. Too deep, too aggressive? No problem.
I think compared to the attachment, it's a little bit harder. Because again, if black pushes up and white, like let's say white jumps, right? We still have to deal with fighting directly against the wall. Like black can extend, we jump sideways, black plays knight's move. We have a running group. And I don't really want to play a running group next to my opponent's stones. It's not like it's going to be the end of the game for white. White can handle this. I think it's fine because black, again, has the weakness at d5, which is kind of bad here for black. But it's also not the most comfortable variation. And when I think about why am I building a group in the center of the board, the only realistic answer that I come up with is I want to help black build the left side for free. And I don't really want to help him build the left side for free.
Okay. So this line of play is what black wants. Black wants to use a group to fight with, and that's exactly what's going on. And if black's going this way, black's right side of the board's getting cleaned up awful easily for free. Yeah. Okay. A lot of times in these positions, I get lost. You know, and in my head, I'm still a Q player, so I'm thinking, well, maybe I should, take it away, and it gets me in trouble. Okay, well, then I'll just back off, and it's well, and this idea, and I've seen AlphaGo do or AI do this a lot. Contact, settle the situation, know what's going on, get on to the next thing.
Yep.
I've seen it do it a lot.
Okay.
Okay.
Yeah, and it's kind of in theme, right? Like I want my opponent to make the decisions. I'm forcing black to make the decision. I'm not the one that has to think here. Black's the one that's got the choices.
Yeah.
Make it his problem, not mine. Yeah. I can sacrifice anything here as long as I get something. Yeah, so this one, I'm just going to honey on top. Nice and easy.
Yeah, kind of a let's not fight immediately. Let's just give him what he wants.
Because even if he wants it, it's not enough. Connect. Like, we know it's not enough because we counted. The box isn't big enough to make up 50 points. Okay, so now here, white's got a couple of choices. We have cutting points. We have a push at J5. I'm going to cut at J3. Because the K3 stone and the J4 stone are easier to bother than 2 stones. So I'm going to cut at B with the intent of coming back to M5 with as a Sente push later. But we'll ask that question.
Did you just say your main thought here is, oh, I want to be playing at C to get home, but we're going to ask a question first?
Yep.
Okay. I also like what you said. The C stones are harder to bother. The AB stones are easier to bother. Let's start with that easy road, which will again give us excellent information and make sure what our Sente is actually Sente and all like that. Very nice.
So I'm curious, it's probably going to Atari H3. I don't really see another option for black here. This one's pretty restrictive. If it does Atari H3, I'll extend to J2. We follow the proverb, sacrifice one more stone. We do it to gain more liberties. Push at k2 is natural here. I'm going to push back at m5. And now by having this and establishing the sacrifice, we've committed black to capturing 2 stones. If we had just pushed first, there's no guarantee black would answer the same way if we cut after the fact.
Right. So we forced him to make that decision.
Yeah.
Man, talk about a Q play that, again, I feel inside I'm going, oh, I want to play it so bad. And it's hard just to, I tend to be over aggressive.
Yeah.
You know, there's something I do in my teaching. If you punish someone severely and right away, it's like, oh my God, my move must have been so bad. And it's a great teaching tool. But if you do it in a real game, oh, he'll just use that against you horribly. So I get in this habit over decades of just doing it quickly rather than patiently.
Right. Yeah, and here I think it's just important, at least for me, to remember that my plan was never to start a fight here. You know, my plan was just to ask the K3 stone, what do you want? I have my answer. It wants to make small territory on the edge. Now I never have to worry about a moyo. So then the wall at c6 is the wall at c6 can't be efficient now. Every exchange black made on the left side is operating at a loss.
Okay. I heard a pro use that quote the other day. If you don't like his moyo, force him to take cash. And then the moyo's gone.
Yep.
And I'm like, well, I've never heard of it that way before. Okay.
Now that's aggressive. I don't recommend this for anybody because this cutting is going to be really painful. So we're going to cut n4.
Yeah.
We're the strong ones
Things
here.
are about to die. Yeah. Yeah, we're done.
This is wishful thinking. But this makes sense, right? Because if all the exchanges at c5 became losses as a result of this probe, right? Then that means that black needs to do something because black's now behind.
Right.
Even if we're not counting territory, if we look at just the nature of the exchanges, black's taken a loss in most parts of the board, barring maybe the right side. So white must be ahead, just on virtue of that alone.
Yeah. Now, one thing for the viewers, black is at some point is going to have to capture these stones.
Yes.
Because there's a lot white can do, which gives white this. And now we see, of course, that the wall's just, black has zero interest in making this wall. It's so, and of course, white can do that anytime he wants because he's strong now.
Yep.
Okay. So I like what you said. Black has no chance of building a moyo now. Good.
Yeah.
Okay.
And we didn't even do anything. We didn't even do anything to stop it. All we did was ask a question. He made the choice.
That's I found that to be a very powerful tool, asking questions like that. So you extend.
Funny note, white actually can cut there directly, even without extending. It's another option that I
here?
Consider.
Yeah,
white can do
then
either.
Something's dead, and it's a big death.
Yes. Because now the group, if it goes this way, just a small little tidbit. Now the group at the left side at c5 is not a wall of thickness or anything. It's a target.
Right.
E5 lands, black's forced to connect. Black has no base because of j2, and then any attack at c11 is going to be quite severe.
Right. So once white has a good position here, the walls become a stick. And the peeps totally sente, and I've killed that wall so many times.
Yeah. So I like to point it out. In the game, I will extend, though. I'm not going to cut.
Yeah, because this black has a counter here using his A stone. So if we extend first, that's gone, and we don't care if we got that bottom because it's beside the point.
Right. But now that he pushed here, I will cut at L3. And this is a little bit of behind the scenes reading. Now, if he saves the stone, it's small because I can connect the 2 stones to the wall at M5, and I can live independently in the corner. So he saves the cutting stone, but for no territorial value, I'll live with both anyway. And also worth noting that even if he rescues the stone, Atari, 2 stones, even if he rescues the stone, it doesn't net him an eye, which he's now also dying inside of
Right.
my area.
Right. So at this point,
Mm-hmm.
it's just, I mean,
Yeah, this game's
way
over.
game over. I mean, it's not even a thought anymore.
Yeah,
Black got nothing for all his work,
yeah.
and white got gobs and gobs. Yeah.
Mm-hmm.
Okay, good. So,
And only 30 minutes to kill the 3 stone bot this time.
okay.
Mm-hmm.
Let's look at this briefly.
Mm-hmm.
I found, especially against bots, I
Mm-hmm.
get in trouble with all the black influence.
Mm-hmm.
I'm like, oh, I don't need to worry. And then all of a sudden, I'm like, how'd I get in this
Yeah.
mess?
So I have 2 answers for that. There's the complicated one, which involves plans, which will probably not be the best one for you. And then there's the easy one, which is just invade the 3/3 and take more points.
Okay, let's look at that. Let's do the other 3/3.
Mm-hmm. Yep. And then here I would probably play, let me think really quick. I think switch condition is good for white, so push at E17 should be the most optimal locally. Switch condition just means if black Hanes and white Hanes,
Yeah.
black's follow-up at B17 isn't a concern because white switching to the left side is okay for white.
Okay.
So call that the switching condition. So this result should be fine. Black can take Sente and make the Sanrense, but we just invade the other 3/3. Actually, you might enjoy this. If I can show you something with control really quick.
Yeah, please.
Remember
this is something that scares people.
Yeah, remember K3 from the last game for a second. Because oftentimes this is exactly how the AI chooses to deal with the Sanrense. It's the same probe. Because no matter what black does here, white is going to force black to convert the Moyo into cash. And when you count it, white is exactly 2 points better.
Okay.
And so then this influence on the right side doesn't matter because white's oftentimes going to end up with a wall around here. And then this stone is not useful to the center in the slightest.
Okay, I'm glad we looked at that because this kind of thing that really can scare people, scares me.
Yeah.
And if you don't deal with it right, black just washes over you. It's horrible. So it's like we're giving black great potential, and you must be able to deal with it. Okay.
That attachment is such a useful thing to have in your bag. Just ask it a question and then make your opponent choose what they want and be happy to get anything there. It's so like liberating because you have like complete freedom to play in that area.
Okay, contact here. Don't give them the top. Okay. And here, why would we fight? Just play strong. I like it. And this one, if we Hane, black gets forcing moves. And we don't like that. So play strong, makes sense. Boom, boom. And then clean it up. That's nice cash. Boom, make black make the decision.
It's also interesting to note that despite the fact that black has spent 9 moves on the right hand side, the right side itself is also not territory yet.
Right.
So it's cash, but with what compensation? Black still has to use the right side somehow, and it's at least 1.5 moves away from being finished.
Yeah. Push, because black can't resist that. And then here is a cute move. Yeah.
It's my favorite move.
This more.
It's my favorite move.
For over a year now, I've been playing this way, trying to find the simplest road and not try to do anything on the go board. I know that sounds stupid. Don't do anything. Just play, just live, take points. Don't worry about his Moyo. Don't worry about anything. Just go. And it's taught me a lot. But just this last month, I'm trying to get back into serious moves rather than learning moves.
Mhm.
Okay, so we are
Mhm.
here, here. It was this one,
It was
this one, that one. Boom. On the outside, way dangerous, going into his hands, getting inside next to his wall, no good.
Mhm.
Here, fighting, Black would like to fight.
Mhm.
Here, we're just saying, no, I'll just do whatever you want.
Mhm.
Makes sense. This idea, this was actually a new idea to me. Hard to hurt the sea stones. Let's cut, not for the sake of anything other than, information, really. Sacrifice 2, we know that one. And then back over here. Very nice flow. And this is just, now it's nothing. We can do anything here. With the easy path, which is actually important. And then that, and then it's just over. Yeah. Good. Well, thank you so much.
Mhm. Yeah, happy to do it.
Viewers, I hope you enjoyed that. I personally like this, being able to talk with a strong player and ask simple questions and get answers I can understand. That means a lot to me. Thanks, George, for doing the backup.
Yep.
Okay, see y'all later. Bye.
Bye.